Hi, my name's Ashley, and I am the author of Getting Through Tough Times with HealthyPlace. Now, you probably do not need me to tell you that the holidays are coming up, and it seems like they always are. And one of the biggest problems for people who have mental illness or who are just going through a really difficult time in their lives is to visit family and go through some of the stressors and anxiety triggers during the holidays peacefully. So today I want to talk to you about ways you can cope with that, whether this is an ongoing issue for you or just a one-time event. So the first thing I want you to realize is that you do not have an obligation to put yourself at risk, emotionally, physically, mentally. You do not have to visit people who stress you out, who make you sad, who have been abusive. You have every right to make your own choice. Just because this is the family that you are born into does not mean that you should feel any obligation to see people who hurt you or who make you want to hurt yourself. Second, you really should plan a timeout. You might want to take a break in the middle of your visit to go get some coffee, just take a walk, anything like that. I like to always bring my own car when I visit family because I want to be able to get out of there if something just isn't going well. Take a breather. It helps a lot. Next, I want you to think about some of the things that you turn to when you're having a difficult time. Alcohol, self-harm, smoking, binging. These are things that people tend to do when they're stressed out, and they're not necessarily the healthiest things for us, and sometimes we're struggling with staying away from these things already, and so the holidays can be a big temptation. So it's important to recognize the signs that you are starting to turn to things that you know you shouldn't, and to make a plan for how to deal with that if possible. Next, I want you to think about the expectations that you set for the holidays. A lot of people are maybe a little idealistic about what's going to happen, how great of a time they're going to have, and then when it doesn't really work out that way, they have a sort of a difficult time. So consider your expectations and set them not low, but realistic. A big necessity for me is to be able to take a situation, maybe where I feel like I want to scream or cry or yell at somebody, take that situation and try to find something that's so ridiculous about it that I can just laugh instead. Makes it a little more tolerable and helps you get through the day. Maybe you'll make a note to write about it later and feel bad about it later, but at the time when there's a lot of pressure to get along with everybody, sometimes you just have to find a situation so absurd that it doesn't bother you. It's really hard, but I find it extremely, extremely necessary. Next, I want to talk to you about your routine. I wake up every day, I either go for a run or work out, and I eat. I have my 2 cups of coffee every day. And if I'm feeling out of sorts, the routine is especially helpful because it reminds me that I have to get up, I have to do these things, and if I don't do anything else all day, I at least have these things done. And it gives me something to, check off the list, like, you did something good today, and that's good enough, for those days when it's a real struggle. So I try to stick to some semblance of a routine, even if I'm visiting somebody. I let them know, hey, I might need to do some work today, I might need to work out, and I try to be prepared to continue on with my routine as much as I can. Finally, I want to talk about social media. Social media, as we all know, can be especially deceptive around the holidays when it seems like everybody else has these loving families and they're so happy and everyone's getting along and everyone is having the time of their lives. And if we're not feeling that way, seeing everybody else feeling that way can be really lonely and upsetting. When I see my family that I'm not necessarily a part of celebrating something together, it is hurtful, and that's just something that I have to deal with. But I also try to remember that the people that I'm seeing are not perfect. They don't always get along, and they're probably not having as good of a time as they seem to be having on Facebook. And that's just something I always try to keep in mind. It makes me feel a little bit better, and also prevents me from feeling like I'm missing out on this amazing experience. So now it's your turn. I want you to tell me what advice you have for somebody who's going through a really tough time and might not be looking forward to the holidays. Maybe they've gone through a breakup, or they're feeling lonely, or maybe just not looking forward to the political climate of their dining room table this Thanksgiving, anything like that. So let me know.